Hello, BookTube. My reading so far for 2023 can be divided into two parts. The first part, and by far the greatest part of my reading, the most enjoyable part of my reading, has been manga, Japanese comics. And the second part is everything else, fiction, nonfiction, poetry, which I talked about yesterday. So today I want to focus on my manga reading and look at my manga reading plans for the second half of 2023. So I started 2023 with a massive reading of the entirety of Fairy Tail by Hiro Mashima. Fairy Tail is my favorite manga, although it is getting some competition. It is definitely getting some competition. So Fairy Tail is about the eponymous Fairy Tail Wizarding Guild. Fairy Tail is infamous for the destructiveness of its guild members, and no guild member is as destructive as Natsu Dragneel, a fire dragon slayer. Natsu is searching for the fire dragon Ignil, his foster father, alongside his exceed companion Happy when he meets a young celestial spirit mage named Lucy Heartfilia. Natsu invites Lucy to join Fairy Tail, and together the trio, Natsu, Happy, and Lucy, form the nucleus of the team that Fairy Tail primarily follows. Joining them are Gray Filibuster, an ice make wizard who is also Natsu's friendly rival, and Ursa Scarlet, the strongest wizard in the guild. Later additions to the team include Wendy Marvell, a young Sky Dragon Slayer, and her exceed companion, Carla, and other guild members join the team as needed. So I had a blast. I had an absolute blast rereading all of Fairy Tail in the first few weeks of 2023, and I'm seriously contemplating doing the same again at the beginning of 2024. And I'll get to that later, but it was just amazing. So I don't know if I really want to. Well, yeah, I guess I'll show some pictures from the first volume. So that's Natsu having a meal. Let's see if there's that there. Right. So, and one thing I love about Fairy Tail every time I read it is seeing Hiro Mashima's artistic skills grow from the first volume to volume 63. It's amazing to watch, to read. I've also been keeping up with my readings of Eden Zero by Hiro Mashima. This is Hiro Mashima's current series. It's about a young man named Shiki who has been raised on a planet of androids, who one day meets a young woman named Rebecca and her exceed companion Happy, who come to the planet to film videos for her BQ channel. The androids appear to malfunction, and Shiki rescues Rebecca and Happy, and together they flee the planet and begin going on adventures, hoping to find the great cosmic goddess figure, Mother. They come upon the Eden Zero, seemingly derelict spacecraft that was left for Shiki by his adoptive grandfather, Ziggy. And together, Shiki, Rebecca, Happy, and their crew, which increasingly form a family, go on a number of adventures. Eventually, it is revealed that Ziggy has survived his terminal illness and has taken up an anti-human agenda, or anti-organic life agenda, and much of the series is devoted to Shiki and his crew fighting his adoptive grandfather. I love this series. I've been, obviously, by the end of last year, I had caught up with Eden Zero, I think, pretty quickly. So I've been largely reading the volumes as they've come out. And I've had a lot of fun. So I'm not reading as much Eden Zero as I would like. I'm thinking, well, I'll get to that, I think, when I get to the plans going forward. But I've been reading Eden Zero as volumes have come out. And the same is true of Tolaban Hanako-kun by, oh, before I forget, I forgot to show some pictures, so. I get this like that. I've been also reading new volumes of Tolaban Hanako-kun by AidaIro as they come out. So Tolaban Hanako-kun is a series set in contemporary Japan at an incredibly haunted high school. A student named Nene is told that if she goes to a specific toilet stall, performs a set ritual, she will be able to summon the spirit known as the Tolaban Hanako-san and be granted a wish. Nene goes to the stall, performs the ritual, and summons Hanako-san. Although this particular version of Hanako-san is not the traditional form of the ghost of a young woman. This particular Hanako-san is the ghost of a young man. And with the Japanese honorific system, and since he appears younger than Nene, he is more appropriately the Tolaban Hanako-kun. So the ghost, Amane, grants Nene her wish. It goes horribly, and Amane rescues her from the consequences of her wish. And in exchange, Nene becomes Amane's assistant, initially cleaning up the stall, but later helping Amane in his duties regulating the relationships between the living and the supernatural at the school. There are 7 mysteries at the school, of which Amane is the 7th. It has a regulatory authority over the other 6. Joining Amane and Nene is a young trainee exorcist named Ko, who initially tries to exorcise Amane, but later becomes great friends with the trio, and they go on a number of school adventures. There is a group at the school who are trying to manipulate the rumors, the stories told about the supernaturals at the school, making them more malevolent, more malicious. This group is revealed to be the school broadcasting club, who is led by the ghost of Amane's twin brother, Tsukasa, who is a psychotic little shit. I love this series so much. And it is disappointing that it's a monthly series, so it comes out fairly infrequently. I think there's maybe only 2 new volumes a year. I could be wrong about that, particularly now that the series has largely caught up with the Japanese release. But it's wonderful. I cannot wait to get to volume, is it 19 or 20? Yeah, like the next volume, which should be coming out pretty soon. But let me see if I can get a good picture here. Oh, yeah, there's that one at the very end that I just love. That is brilliant. Okay. So I've also been working my way slowly through the 7 Deadly Sins by Nakaba Suzuki. I'm a little more than halfway through the series right now. So the 7 Deadly Sins is a series inspired by the Arthurian legends, and it's set in the land of Britannia. Princess Elizabeth, the daughter of the King of Leones, has gone in search of the 7 Deadly Sins, a order of superhuman knights who 10 years previously were accused of assassinating the chief holy knight, another order of knights, of superhuman knights, and of attempting to overthrow the kingdom. In the present, it's the holy knights who have overthrown Elizabeth's father. And so Elizabeth goes in search of the 7 Deadly Sins to get their support in restoring her father to his throne, because the Holy Knights had become tyrannical douchebags. Elizabeth finds Melodius, the former leader of the Seven Deadly Sins, and together they go in search of the other 6 and to restore the kingdom. And so they do. They find 6, the other 5 of the missing 6, and do restore the kingdom and defeat the Holy Knights. But that's only the beginning. The second part of the series, and the longer part of the series, is a conflict between the various races of Britannia, the humans, the fairies, the giants, against the demons, who have launched an invasion after being sold away for thousands of years. And so my reading has been a bit spotty with the Seven Deadly Sins. There were a few volumes between the restoration of Elizabeth's father to his throne and the more recent volumes that I read a few weeks ago, where I wasn't entirely pleased with. And I guess that's because a lot of the focus was on Ban's story, and it didn't quite work for me. Although I'm going to come back to the Seven Deadly Sins once I've completed the series. I've got about 15 or 16 volumes left to go before I finish out the series. Although that is spoiling my book haul this month. But but I'm really enjoying the more recent volumes that I read. They were amazing. So let's see. If I could find a really good volume. Oh yeah, of that there. So yeah, I've also been slowly working my way through Nabari no O by Yuki Kamatani. So this is a roughly contemporary series set in Japan about modern day ninja who have superhuman powers. Miharu Rokujo, the young man on the cover, is the possessor of the Shinra Bansho, power that can sort of rewrite reality if used properly. And that makes him valuable to a number of surviving ninja clans, most notably the Kairoshu and their Grey Wolves faction. He's protected by a local ninja clan called Benton, whose leader is his English teacher. And there are a few other ninja who are training ninja alongside him. But the problem is that Miharu doesn't give a hoot. He does not give a hoot. But he gradually does. I've been picking up the series very slowly. It's rather difficult finding volumes. So far I have 4 volumes. Yeah, 4. So it's difficult to find volumes of Nabari no O. And my reading of I loved volume 1 and volume 2. Volume 3 was a bit of a disappointment, but I'm going to stick with it and come back to it eventually as well. So next is over the course of this year, I got back into Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic by Shinobu Ohtaka. So Magi is a series inspired by the 1001 Nights. It's about a young wizard, a young magi named Aladdin, who travels the world looking for friends. He finds one in Alibaba's Saluja, a young man who is a cart driver, or at least that's what he seems. Alibaba dreams of conquering a dungeon, the massive mysterious buildings that have popped up throughout the world over the past few decades that have enticed thousands of adventurers to try to capture them. Alibaba and Aladdin enter one and manage to capture it, alongside a young woman named Morgiana, who is a slave to the Lord of Kishan. And then they're gradually split apart, and then they come together and go on a number of adventures. I read this first 3 volumes of the series when I started to get back into manga, because Magi: The Labyrinth of Magic was one of those series that I really wanted to read. And so I picked up the first 7 volumes, and then I ran into a roadblock because a number of volumes were hard to find. And over the last few months, I've gradually started to refocus on Magi to pick up a lot of the volumes that I've been missing. And to date, to spoil my June book haul some more, I will, by the end of this month, I'll have about 3 to 4 volumes left to pick up. So hopefully I'll be able to get them soon. But yeah, I'm really enjoying I really enjoyed the first 8 volumes of Magi. They were a blast. See here. So there's a picture of Aladdin. And there. And I also got back into Naruto by Masashi Kishimoto. So Naruto is one of the most popular manga series in the world. It's the story of Uzumaki Naruto, a young man who lives in the village of Konohagakure, the Hidden Leaf village. He is a student ninja and the town pariah, and the town troublemaker. He learns at the beginning of the series that he is the container of the 9-tailed demon fox that attacked the village on the day of his birth, and that the Hokage of the time trapped the fox within him. Naruto desires to be the Hokage when he grows up. And to do this, he has to become a full-fledged ninja. So Naruto is the story of Naruto's progression to an apprentice ninja and his increasing sort of presence in ninja circles. He's joined by his classmates Sakura and Sasuke and his teacher Kakashi. So I've actually had 2 goes at Naruto this year so far. The first time, I think I have a weird reading relationship with Naruto, particularly the early volumes. There are times when I don't quite get on with this first volume, and then there are times when it clicks. So the first time I read volume 1, it didn't quite click with me. But when I came back to it a few weeks later, it clicked. And oh boy, did it click. And I then read the first 6 volumes, and I had a blast. It was phenomenal. Just phenomenal. And I cannot wait to read more. So there's a picture of the 9-tailed fox. And there's a picture of Konoha. So I've also been working my way through volumes of My Hero Academia by Kohei Horikoshi. So this is a superhero manga series inspired by American superhero comics. It's about a young man named Izuku Midoriya, or Midoriya Izuku, to be more proper with how Japanese names, who loves superheroes, and he wants to be one, but he's born quirkless. He's born without superpowers. But one day he meets his idol, All Might, the greatest hero in Japan, and he inspires All Might through an act of bravery. That even though he is powerless, he stands up against a villain who is attacking one of his classmates, and in fact, one of his bullies. This inspires All Might to grant Izuku his quirk, One for All. And this allows Izuku to become the superhero Deku. And Izuku goes to the School for Superheroes UA, where he learns to become a hero. While All Might's presence has led to an era of peace, that era is coming to an end. All Might's power is declining, waning, and until Izuku can come into his own as the new symbol of peace, the villains will rise, and there are a number of villain factions that do rise and attack the world, particularly the League of Villains and its leader, the irredeemable All for One. Yeah, I'm loving this series. I just recently read 6 volumes, which I will talk about this weekly reads, but it was just, I am loving it. I'll just show you that little action scene. So I'll talk a lot more about My Hero Academia later this evening. The same is also true of Jujutsu Kaisen by Gege Akutami. This is a series set in contemporary Japan about a young man named Yuji Itadori, who is a member of his school's occult club. They found a cursed object, the finger of an evil sorcerer named Sukuna. A cursed spirit, a monster, attacks the school attracted by the finger, and the cursed spirit is fought by a young Jujutsu sorcerer named Megumi. Yuji wants to help, and he does so by eating the cursed finger, and becomes temporarily possessed by Sukuna, gaining a level of superpowers. Although it becomes, I think, fairly clear that Yuji does have a significantly enhanced strength and durability compared to most ordinary humans. But so Yuji helps defeat the cursed spirit, and then attacks Megumi when his teacher Gojo arrives and subdues the Sukuna-possessed Yuji. Yuji is set to be executed by the Jujutsu sorcerers until it's argued that since he can largely contain Sukuna, that it might be wise to just let Yuji eat all of the remaining pieces of Sukuna, and then once all of Sukuna is in Yuji's belly, then kill him. And so that's what they do. But until that time, Yuji is enrolled in a Jujutsu High Tokyo branch to learn how to be a Jujutsu sorcerer, and he goes on a number of adventures. I've only read the first 11 volumes, and I have loved it. And again, I just recently finished 6 volumes this past reading week, and I am really looking forward to reading more. And I'll talk a bit about that later. So let me find a really good picture. So there's that. I also started on One Piece by Eiichiro Oda. This is one of the great manga series of the last 25 years. It's about a young man named Monkey D. Luffy who dreams of becoming king of the pirates, and he goes about an adventure around the world, building a crew, looking for the One Piece, a fabled treasure that will allow him to become king of the pirates. this is a really fun series that I'm probably going to take my time picking up, because as much as I enjoyed it, I don't know. But I mean, because I really enjoyed this, what I read. But I guess it's such a large series. It's well over 100 volumes now. So I'm basically going to pick this series up in these omnibus editions. But yeah, I mean, I had a lot of blast with that. I also started on Demons of the Shadow Realm by Hiromu Arakawa, her latest series. She's famous for Fullmetal Alchemist. So this is set in contemporary Japan. It's about a set of twins in a hidden village that is one day attacked by a mercenary force. One of the twins, Yuru, then flees the village once he learns that his sister is actually one of the leaders of the mercenaries, and so he goes to try to figure out what's going on. I really enjoyed this first volume, and I cannot wait for more. But I think there's like 2 volumes more coming out this year. So that's largely all that I've read. So my plans going forward is I'm planning on getting caught up with Jujutsu Kaisen and My Hero Academia for sure in the next few weeks. I'm also planning on, and of course, like some of the series that I haven't either finished or gotten caught up with yet, I plan on continuing reading them. I'm also planning on having a go at Demon Slayer by Koyoharu Gotoge. And I want to get back to or re-experience Yu Yu Hakusho by Yoshihiro Togashi. And Pluto by Naoki Urasawa and Osamu Tezuka. And I would like to start on Chainsaw Man by Tatsuki Fujimoto. Plus, I want to have another go at Kaiju number 8 by Naoya Matsumoto. Because I have 4 volumes, and I would like to have another, and also Orient by Shinobu Ohtaka. And this is her current series. And I would like to revisit Noragami Stray God by Adachitoka, which I only have 2 volumes, but I would like to maybe have another go at, because I'm kind of disappointed with how these 2 turned out last year, so I'm going to kind of come back to them. And I think I am going to read all of Fullmetal Alchemist at some point, either this coming August, September, or I might end the year with a massive read of Fullmetal Alchemist. I don't know which. Sorry if I seem to have rushed this last part, but I'm almost at 30 minutes. And I've had a blast, so I could probably go on. But anyway, so expect a lot more My Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen later this afternoon or this evening as I do weekly reads, because I read 6 volumes of Jujutsu Kaisen and 6 volumes of My Hero Academia, and I loved both of them. So I'm going to really enjoy that part. The rest of the reading week, not so much. But until I see you later this evening with weekly reads, thank you, BookTube. Have a great afternoon and stay safe.